Nick, some standouts so far, if you can name some, but maybe not the biggest names. Like if maybe some guys that have surprised you that might be standing out a little bit, or guys who may not be the biggest names that are standing out.
Yeah, give me a second. I did
Okay.
this yesterday, so I'll read some names who aren't the names that you know, or maybe the names that aren't talked about a ton.
Yeah.
I'll start with one that is probably talked about a ton, but maybe should be talked about more. I think Miles Graham's made a leap
Mm.
from freshman to sophomore year. He's going to be your starting Mike linebacker. Pup Howard, as he comes back, you have to worry about Jaden Robinson. Like Jaden Robinson is here to take jobs. Made a great play today, forced a fumble. I hear a lot of Lake City, Lake City coming down, but he's super athletic. I remember Billy Napier telling us the story, and I asked J. Rob about it. He had 7 touchdowns on defense his senior year of high
Mm-hmm.
school, and he said they were all either scoop and scores or interceptions, and some of them pretty long.
He's playing a little bit of
Jaden Wood,
safety. He was playing a little bit of safety then, right? I think
yeah,
too. Yeah.
no, big boy now.
Yeah.
Definitely not safety now. Cormani McLean's one that, a lot of stuff that I've said about Cormani that has gotten out. People think I hate him or whatever. He's always had the talent, but just needed to figure it out off the field. And that's one thing since the spring I've been hearing from the coaching staff, like, not a problem. Don't have to worry about anything off the field anymore. The coaching staff gets on him about his technique because he's so physically and athletically gifted that he can sometimes get lazy with his technique, and I'll just go catch up to him. If I get beat off the line, I'll just catch the guy. And I've seen him make interceptions where he gets beat off the line. Quincy Wilson and Tease Tabor are really taking time with him, and I've seen less of that. He had a pick today. He had a pick yesterday. They made him do push-ups because he should have had 2 picks today, but dropped one. Would have been a crazy one, but like Cormani's been looking really, really good. And then Sharif Denson. I think Sharif Denson is ready to play. Last one on defense, if he stays healthy, and this is something I'm really pulling for, is Aaron Gates. Obviously had a knee injury in high school, and then another knee injury at Florida, and I think he had a setback when he was coming back from that. He's been healthy. He's been running around, talking to him when we did our Florida Victorious Media Day, like chomping at the bit to play football. Really, really pulling for him. Great kid, hell of a football player.
And,
And then offense.
and before you go to offense, there and you mentioned those two guys together, Denson and Gates.
Yeah.
Is it still a lot of rotation with those guys, or have you seen them on the field at the same time?
Yeah, I've seen them on the field at the same time.
Okay.
Denson and both have played safety and both have played nickel.
Okay. No,
So they're cross training.
okay, good. We heard Napier say that last week, but
Yeah.
it was more so okay. Is it in emergency situations, or as physical as those guys are, I'd love to see them on the field at the same time in some ways. So glad to hear that there. All right, standing out on offense and maybe some not so big names that we should be looking out for.
Yeah, I think he's the least thought of the 3 receivers that enrolled early, but I am my Twitter account is quickly becoming a Nashon Montgomery fan account.
No gloves.
I remember,
No gloves.
yeah, no gloves, no drops. No gloves, no drops. We're working on marketing that already. It's funny because I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, I don't practice with him. But I remembered in the spring that he did. And I asked him about it. He was like, yeah, like gloves make it easy. I was like, well, do you use them in the game? He goes, not really. And I was like, if my job required me to do one thing and something made that one thing easier, I would do that thing. And listen, if he were dropping passes, I would tell him, like, hey, man, here's some gloves. Here's some Stickum. But he's just a natural receiver, really good route runner. Someone asked me about it. I said he catches the ball with his fingers, and by that I mean he's catching it way out. He's not letting it get into his palms. You've got body catchers, which you don't want. And then you've got guys that catch it deep in their hands. He catches it out in his fingers, strong hands. Really acrobatic in the air as well. Really, yeah, big Nashon Montgomery fan. Jacoby Jackson standing out. J. Mike Sturdivant is standing out. And then I'd say VB3 and KD Daniels, too, as some guys who we don't talk too much about. But KD he does a really good job of getting skinny. He's a little bit smaller than Jaden Baugh and Jacoby Jackson does a really good job of kind of like getting skinny, getting lost behind the offensive line, and then getting through and super fast.
I think Jacoby Jackson joked with us at the Independent Gator Media Day. I think somebody asked him who's the Thunder and who's the Lightning, and I think he said both of us are. So would Katie Daniels be the Lightning?
I don't know.
Or is he physical as well with those guys?
Yeah. I watched Katie Daniels give one of the freshman defensive players their welcome to college moment in practice. Yes, can be physical.
Okay, all right. Well, there we go then. A couple more, Nick, before I let you go. With you being now at every practice and getting to stay, the demeanor of Billy Napier in that setting, like if what you can share. I mean, I understand. I don't want to get you in trouble either, but anything that you have noticed or anything that has surprised you about the demeanor, like, 'cause, everybody watches Billy Napier's press conference or his in-game interviews, and it's, he's so monotone. He's, does he ever get excited? All that. Do you see a side of Billy Napier in that setting that you really didn't see before?
Yeah, he's very good. And I watched the Netflix show yesterday, and I think it was either Graham or DJ said, like, he just is who he is. Well, what he says, that's who he is. But one thing that's different now that Ryan O'Hara is really handling most of the quarterback stuff, Billy is able to float around a little bit more. But I remember going to practices when it was Muschamp, and if the defense got burned, he wasn't celebrating that because that was his. It was almost like you had two teams. You had the offensive Gators and the defensive Gators, and if the defense didn't win the day, Will was pissed. Billy, today when there was a pick, I call it pick six, but they're not really trying to tackle, and they tell the guys to run all the way through. Billy's celebrating with the rest of the defense. He gets on the guys. He spends a lot of time still with the quarterbacks, especially with DJ. If DJ's not participating in a drill, he's talking with Billy, certainly getting mental reps, watching what a quarterback did, and then talking to Billy like, hey, is that the read? Or I don't know what they're talking about, but you can tell they're talking about what they're seeing. He's just very level. When he needs to get on someone, he will. When he needs to celebrate someone, he will. But he's kind of I use this term about baseball a lot. You don't get too high on your highs. You don't get too low on your lows. That you kind of just need to kind of stay in between. And I think that is his demeanor for the most part. But demanding of the guys and expecting and demanding them to bring intensity to every practice.
It's funny you said that with him celebrating with the defense and stuff. I go back to a year ago, to last season, and look, Lagway deserves a whole ton of accolades for kind of, igniting this team in a lot of ways, but it was the turnaround in that defense that to me was the number one factor of, because just Florida offense has been good enough to win a lot of games under Billy Napier, but the defense would just not be there, and that would be a lot of the reasons. But that turned around a little bit last November, and I think you saw it go a long way. So good to hear him celebrating with the defense there.